Or ladies and gentlemen, so this is Lao Ban, Hoikun. You say Shanga Lao Ban in Mandarin, like a boss. So we're going to do a ice climbing scenario today. We're not going to do climbing technique, just bringing the client successful edge transition, a vector pull, which is a simple assist, a 3-to-1 assist, and also block and tackle. We'll go over that as well. Let me go over the anchor setup for a moment here. We have 2-point anchor, we have a locker, non-locker. We have some ice covering the anchor, which is very important in the summer. In the winter as well, cover your anchors. You always want to cover your anchors and check them as well between tours. Make sure you don't have a lot of movement. I chopped out a slot here for the rope. Sometimes if the rope's rubbing on the ice or it's rubbing on the ash, added friction, unnecessary rope damage. So now, to start this process, I'm going to have you notice here that I have a prusik on the line. I keep this on myself. This is my backup for lowering especially. And also I mind it when I bring the client up as well. We'll talk about that. So step one, I'm going to go to the edge before the client goes to the edge. I'm going to have the client walk back. And this is a nice vertical wall, so this is going to be a good practice. So now at this point, the client is just very nervous, crapping themselves if they were climbing in this area. So you really have to coach them over the edge of something bigger. Now how we're going to do that is, of course, you're going to coach them, make sure that you're paying attention to me, make sure the harness is nice and tight, check the crampons, check the helmet. And how this goes is I'm going to have them just walk back, and I'm going to kind of hold the rope now for their support, because when they feel it, they feel a little better. Keep walking back, walk back, walk back. Now you want to wait until they get on the edge. And you're going to tell them when they get on the edge, you're going to start leaning back. Their tendency is going to want to lean forward and walk down, but they can't because they're going to face plant or they're just going to fall backwards. Okay, so I'm just going to have the client now just lean back like you're sitting in a chair. Sit in a chair. Keep sitting in a chair. There you go. Lean back. There you go. Good, good. Little steps back. Little steps back. Now I'm holding the rope. Notice I'm going to have them sit back more. Sit back more. And now I let the rope down against the ground. Okay. So that was a good transition, but holding that rope allows you to kind of control where the client's doing to some extent. You could pull it up to pull them closer to you, let it down to let them go further, but I always hold the rope. And I have the prusik here, so worst case scenario, something happens, this prusik will catch. I'm going to let them down now. And I often just maintain contact with my clients, like, how are you feeling? Are you doing good? Are you pumped about this? Are you ready to climb? Okay. So one moment. So now I'm going to go find a nice position here. And now watch this. I'm going to take out the slack. I'm going to hold it with 3 fingers, push this forward, take it out again. Now notice I use this prusik to pull the rope. I always feel this. The client doesn't want to feel slack. They want to feel the rope tight, even though you really can't pull the slack out yet. And now I pull with my body, hold it with 2 or 3 fingers, reset, pull with my body, hold with 2 or 3 fingers, reset, pull with my body, hold, reset, pull, hold, reset. Okay, so let's go through the 3-step process we have here to help a client. So number 1, the easiest and the quickest for you is going to be the vector pull. So basically what that is the client is just in a little hard section, maybe a tiny vertical part or some hard blue ice, and they just can't do it. What you do is I'm going to take this. Now notice I can pull up to here. I have a lot of slack, and that will help the client over that little section. I pull up and I say, keep climbing a little bit. There you go. They made it over that section. Same process. Now take out that slack, right? So there you go. Now they feel good. They feel confident. Now they're gassed again though. What do? They don't feel too good. They need some assistance. What we can do here is I'm going to come to this area and I'm going to put a 3-to-1 on this system. But before you start messing with things, what you want to do is to make sure that when you put a 3-to-1, you're just going to mule it quickly over both, as you see, under, There we go. And you want to make sure that that mule goes against the carabiner, like so. Final step, we can just tie a nice overhand. You can just tie the end of this into here. So now I feel good about this. So what I'm going to do here is the client is muled, the line is muled, and I'm going to put a prusik on the line. Now those of you who may have T-blocks, T-block is a great thing to have in this case, but I'm going to assume you don't have a T-block, because if you did, this would be a very fast step, but let's do it with a prusik. So I'm going to do 3 wrap prusik here. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, pull it up. Now the 3 steps to making a prusik, as you know, we have the wrap step, which we just did. We have the grooming setup, which I'm doing now. And then we have the set. Wrap, groom, and set. And set, just making sure that it sits on the rope, doesn't slide. So you want to give it a little tug. Also, you need a don't forget me knot here. Why? I don't know. You just don't forget the knot. I do know, which is to make the 3-to-1 mechanical advantage system. But anyway, now I'm setting it, right? Okay. So I'm going to now take my part of the rope here, the brake strand. I'm going to take another carabiner. Okay, so now that's in. Now mind you, this mule is still here, okay? So I'm going to take out this mule here. Now when I do this, you have to hold the brake strand as well when you're doing this. Because as soon as you take this off and pull out the slack, it's going to pop and then the client's going to start going down. Okay, so now it's like this. Now, okay, now as you watch, I'm going to take this out. And as soon as it gets close, I'm just going to hold it, pull it, and then a nice strong hold. And that allows you to not really lose anything. Okay, now I'm going to take out the slack out of this. Now I'm being very careful, as I said, as soon as I start letting this go, the client's going down. So I'm going to take out the slack until this gets tight. There we go. And now, this is a 3-to-1, and this is the munter up here, basically as capturing the progress to some extent. Okay, you could climb a little bit more. I know he's tired, I'm just pulling him, I'm helping him out. Okay, and now okay, stop. Right, so that was a 3-to-1. We started with a vector 1 to a 3-to-1, and now the client completely gassed, can't do anything, they can't climb up anymore, and they're just like, pull me up, right? And you're like, no. But yeah, so you have to pull them up, of course. So what you're going to do, I'm going to take the brake strand again, right? Hold that tight so the client doesn't go anywhere. Just mule it again, okay, like we talked about before. I'm going to bring it over both strands, as you can see, coming through. Actually, let me tie it up here. There we go. The closer you make it, the less it slides. So, okay. Nice long tail there. Bring it around to make the overhand. Okay. After I mule it, what I'm going to do next, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to put just an 8 or an overhand up here, and this is just the catastrophe backup in case something were to happen. Okay, so that's that step done. Now we're going to assume that we didn't put the prusik on the line. We're going to put the prusik on at this point, which is the same process we just did, which is wrap, groom, and set. And at that point, what we're going to do is same don't forget me not. It's going to tie an overhand up here somewhere, just like this. And then we're going to put this into the shelf. Gonna bring that down. All right, so now just to review the system again. What I have here is I have the munter, which is muled there, and then I have this overhand going down here to the prusik, don't forget me not, and then I also have the backup catastrophe, which is this overhand here in case something were to happen. All right, now we're going to do the next step. Just make sure this is set, right? Because we're going to undo this mule here. I'm going to undo the mule. Now when I undo the mule, here's the thing you have to think about. When I undo this, it's going to weight the prusik. So you have to make sure that this prusik is set properly, right? You want to check it, okay? So I'm going to, same as we did before, I'm going to pull this. When it gets close to the end, I'm going to give it a fast pull. And now I'm going to let the rope go down a little bit while holding the brake strand. And it should weight this cordlet, this prusik here. Okay, so now it's weighted. One thing I also neglected to mention, do you see how long the ends of these strands are? So you want to at least make sure you can fit 2 fists there. Here you can fit many, of course, so that's acceptable. So now we have slack in the system, and this is held by the prusik. What I'm going to do at this point, I can take this off and I'm going to put an ATC here in guide mode. As we learned in the previous video, you can just put this wire to U, and again, the orientation, the brake hand, the hand here, and we have the climber. So the climber's rope goes on top and the brake goes on the bottom, as we can see. I'm going to grab it like in that orientation, put it through the device like so. And now I'm going to put this and just give it a check. If I pull the climber's rope, what happens? It locks. If I pull the slack, what happens? Okay, I feel good about that. And now what can we do? We have to somehow get slack in the system because we're not going to pull this just with our hands here. So we need a mechanical advantage to pull this. All right, so now I'm going to take this carabiner. I'm going to put this right here in this 3-to-1. This don't forget me not. Close that off. And now what this allows me to do is, as I give this a small pull, okay, now as you can see, now there's slack in this situation here. One thing I want you to mind, you're never going to drop this without holding it. This is not a hands-free, so you can just pop a overhand catastrophe knot here, just like this. Okay, so worst case scenario, if this were to slide, this catastrophe knot would hit the ATC, it wouldn't go anywhere. Okay, we could keep that on because we're going to continue to haul. We can take this off because we don't need this on anymore. We can also remove this since nothing happened. Okay, and I could use that carabiner as well sometime. All right, and so now we're going to go back. So I'm going to take off this catastrophe knot as well because I have the brake strand. All right, and now, so to go up here. Now, before I do this haul, because this is a standard 3-to-1, which means there's a lot of edge friction. If the client's heavy, it's going to be pretty hard. What I can do now is I can actually create a 5-to-1, which we'll go over very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to put, again, an overhand here as a catastrophe. I'm going to go hands-free for a moment. All right, so there we go. Now, you can just use your 5-meter cordlet for this, and I'm going to tie just an overhand or 8 on this, like so, on the other end as well. Also, if you have an extra 120 sling, that works fine too. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this in the shelf here. And now, instead of putting the brake strand through, I'm going to put this 5 meter through. Okay. And now I'm going to put this here. Okay, so let's see this system in action. I'm just going to describe this to you one more time before we continue. As you can see, I'm going to move this out of the way. So what we have here is we have a 5-to-1 setup. The end of that goes in the shelf, comes down, goes to the Don't Forget Me Not, which was a 3-to-1 initially. Now it's creating the 5-to-1. It comes up, and now we can see the rope here comes right to the carabiner that would be going to the shelf. So I'm going to remove this because I have the brake strand now in my hand. Okay. I'm going to bring this down with the brake strand in my hand still, as far down as I can. Okay, and now this would be a 5-to-1 system, make it much easier to haul. Okay, so now I can just do the haul like so. And that is the 5-to-1. And also mind your ropes, right? You don't want to step on your ropes. That's your client's job. So make sure that where you're stepping, you can keep your situation nice and clear. And there you go. And then the client comes over the edge. And of course, at this point, I would make sure that this is minded here. And I would come with them. And you could just do micro pulls, meaning you go very close to them. The other option is I could take this off. And I could just, similar to we're doing the rescue video, you can just attach this to them here with a 2-to-1. So there are many options to get them over the edge, but generally speaking, and then you want to bring them by the belay loop or something secure away from the edge, 3 meters away from the edge. And that is the full video. Shangalao Ban.